Hello everyone, I hope everybody had a good holiday and a happy new year. Today I'm going to make English muffins, so let's get started. So I woke up today and I had an overwhelming desire to make English muffins. I kind of want to make, just have it with toasted with jam or eggs Benedict. So that's why I decided to make English muffins today. So we need 1 1/4 cups of warm water. You don't want it to be too hot, otherwise it's going to kill the yeast. And we need 1 teaspoon of salt. It's quite a bit of salt. I like to dissolve the salt and the sugar into the warm water, just so it's not grainy inside the dough. Sugar, we need 1 tablespoon. And then we're going to use instant yeast, and we need 1 teaspoon, it says, which is interesting. Normally it's about 2 1/4, but for this English muffin recipe, it gets fried, so they don't puff like way up. So I'm going to mix this up with my whisk. I like to whisk this so that it really blooms nice. Proofs. Is it bloom or is it proof? I'm going to have to look that up. So we're going to let this sit for 10 minutes until it foams up, and then we'll finish the rest of the dough. So it's been about 10 minutes. I was a little worried. I'll show you why. It just started to foam. I was a little worried because we only put 1 teaspoon of yeast in this, but I see that it's starting to foam, so I think we're good. I thought I might have to start over. So let's continue and put the rest of the ingredients in. So we need, let's see here. I think all that's left is flour and melted butter. So let's put this on the mixer here. Hopefully these turn out good. So I have flour. It says 2 3/4 cups of flour. So I'm going to put the melted butter in first. This is 2 tablespoons of melted butter. It says you can also use olive oil. So let's add this slowly. So let's do 1 cup at a time here. And knead it in slowly. I do know with this recipe it cannot be over kneaded, so we need to do this on low. And just until the flour is incorporated. Let's get a spatula here. I think we will mix some of this up here because it's got lots of flour on the sides. Okay, let's add the 2nd cup. I just want to watch this carefully. Make sure that it incorporates nice. Just moving it around so it doesn't overmix here, so it mixes everything in nicely. Okay, let me stop this. I want to make sure that it's mixed on the bottom as well here. Yeah, see there's some flour on the bottom. These kinds of mixers, sometimes there's a spot right on the very bottom where they don't mix completely. Okay, so it says 2 3/4 cups. So I'm going to stick about a 1/2 cup in. I don't want to over flour this. So there's still another 1/4 of a cup if we need it. There we go. It's starting to look really good. This recipe should make about 10 English muffins. So if you want to make more than that, you can double and triple the recipe. This is a recipe that I haven't used before. I have made English muffins before, but not this specific recipe, so I wanted to test it first before I made a lot of them. I like to make them and freeze them sometimes. Okay, so this is still really sticky. So we're going to add the other 1/4 of a cup. Hopefully we don't need any more. It says to add flour until it's not an extremely sticky texture. Okay, let me just mix these two together here. They're separating a little bit. Get the flour off the bottom. I think we might need a little bit more flour, but we'll wait and see until this is completely mixed here. I don't want them to be tough, so I want to make sure all the flour is incorporated before I make that choice here. Okay, so we are going to stick a little bit more in. As you can see, it's still quite sticky. But I think a tiny bit more should be perfect. So let's do another 1/4 of a cup here. And then this should be perfect. Let's see. When making bread products of any kind, it's all about the texture of the dough. Sometimes you need to adjust the recipe. This is starting to look better. I'm just gonna do the same thing I did before and combine it all here. Yeah, it's starting to feel way better. This is a nice light dough, the feeling of it. Okay, let's mix this a little bit. I'm just incorporating it, getting it to go into a ball. We don't want it over mixed here. Okay. It's a little bit sticky, but I don't think it's too bad, and we don't want to over mix it. So, take this off. I think I might mix this by hand just a little bit because there's a few chunks in here. Let me just get the mixer out of the way here. I washed all my counters before I started. I just want to point that out. I wash everything before I start. Okay, let's just give this a really small knead. I don't want to over knead it. There, that feels a lot better. There's no lumps of flour in there that I can feel. There, I think that might be good. Yep, okay. So now, let's just pour some olive oil into the bowl here. And then take our dough. And I did look it up and it is blooming, not proofing. Proofing is what we're about to do. We're about to raise the bread, which is proofing it. I got the two mixed up. Okay, so now I'm going to cover this with a cloth And we're going to let this raise for about an hour. And once it's raised, we'll come back and finish the rest together. Okay, so it's done raising. It doesn't raise like bread dough, so keep that in mind. So I'm just taking a pan here, putting some parchment paper out. So if you wanted to use cornmeal, this would be the time that you'd sprinkle some on the baking sheet here. I can't find mine, so we're not going to use it. I still haven't found it from moving. I think I have it in a box somewhere. So this recipe is supposed to make 10 English muffins. So I'm going to cut them into 10 pieces, and then we're going to roll them into a ball. I'm just doing this roughly here, trying to get them somewhat the same size. How many did I do there? 3. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is roll them into a ball. I'm supposed to roll them like this, kind of like you would for buns, like that. I usually go like this. I roll my buns a little differently though, so we're going to do it the way it says in the recipe here, just to make it into a ball. And then put it on the sheet. Do it for each one. And then we're going to flatten them before we raise them again. Actually, I think we flatten them after they're raised, now that I think about it. I'm going to check the recipe before we do that part. Make sure. So I'm just going like this, trying to shape the ball. Like that. I'm just crimping some of the edges here together. Let the ball form a little easier. There we go, like that. So like I was saying, this is when you would have put the cornmeal on the bottom and then set these on top. But if you don't want to use the cornmeal, you don't have to. It's mostly for the texture of the finished product. So I got a new cast iron skillet for Christmas behind me here. I asked for a 15-inch cast iron skillet with double handles, and my fiance bought me one for Christmas. So we're going to use that to fry these after they're done raising. These get fried in a frying pan rather than baked in the oven, which is different for a bread recipe, but that's how you achieve the golden brown on the outside. Six. Okay, I just want to make sure I had enough here. Finish these last few here. Oh, that one worked really well. Just like that. Last one. And then these need to raise again for another 10 to 15 minutes. So once they're done raising, we will get ready and start frying these in my new cast iron skillet. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to cover these and let them raise for another 10 minutes, and then I will be back and we'll finish it up. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. They look a little bigger. They didn't raise too much. Okay, so I'm just heating up my pan. So let's start frying these. Okay, so this is warmed to a low to medium heat. I'm going to use some cooking spray. And then I'm going to take them and just lightly push down like that. And take them. No, might not be quite hot enough. We'll see. Oh no, there we go. There's the sizzle. That. And in the recipe it says 5 to 10 minutes per side. It just depends on the dough. You could have also cut these out with a cookie cutter if you wanted, but it was recommended to roll them into balls. I have used my cast iron pan a few times since I've got it, and it works great. The only thing I noticed is the one side, because my burners are only like this big. Sometimes it's a little cold on the one side, but that's because I wanted such a big pan. Okay, so we're going to fry these for a couple minutes on each side. I'm going to get a plate to put these on. You just want to make sure these aren't burning. I'm sure, yeah, they're going to start. I think I need to turn it down just a little bit, because I don't want them to burn. Slid right off. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to flip them because I think it's a little bit brown. Turn it down a bit so they don't burn. See how the one side is a little bit, this one's probably not baking very much. Yep. Let me adjust my burner here. This one's probably similar. Probably should have used a different pan for this. I'm very curious to see how these turn out. Try not to slide my pan on the stove here, cause scratches. Okay, so I'm going to give these ones a few more minutes. Okay, these ones are almost done. I have a platter here with some paper towel on it, just in case there's any grease, but I'm not seeing a lot. And then I have 3 more to do, and then we'll break open into one of these and taste it. Hopefully they taste good. Hopefully they're cooked. They should be. They're nice and soft, I can feel it. Next time I make these, I'll make them in a different pan though. So a little bit smaller one. Okay, let's see where the burner is here. Turn it down just a little bit. I can feel the pan's pretty hot here. Okay, and then we'll put the next ones in. Okay, let those brown on one side. Okay, I think they're ready to come off. Okay, so I'm going to let this cool for a minute, and then we're going to give one a taste. Okay, these are still quite hot, so let's test them out. Hopefully they're not too hot to cut. Normally I just pull them apart, but they're very hot. I got new knives for Christmas. These white with gold. Something I really, really needed. Ooh, nice and hot. Oh, those look nice. Give you a close-up look. They look delicious. Okay, let's put some butter. Don't want too much butter. Just a little bit. And some of my homemade raspberry jam that we made together. We've gone through so many jars of this already. It's very good, delicious. It has a little bit of a tart taste to it, which is what I like. I don't like jam to be too sweet. Okay, let's test this. They look nice and fluffy. They're good. I think once they cool, they're probably going to get the aeration that they usually get. You know, the bubbles that are in the middle. There are bubbles in these. I'm curious to see how they are when they cool. But for now, they're delicious. This is good because I haven't eaten lunch yet, so. Very good. I hope you guys liked making English muffins with me. They taste very delicious, so I hope you guys try the recipe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.